finally know what I'm going to say. Isn't that wonderful? Here I am trying to record a vlog. I've tried to record this vlog like 6 times today, but I know what I'm saying. So I wanted to talk about a portion of the journey that I've gone through as an artist since I started writing books, and how the different books that I've written, themes of those novels, were really just my psyche trying to express what I was going through in story form as I was writing it. And I think that a lot of the purest stories come from, what's deep inside. A lot of people, they do cookie cutter stuff, and that's cool, right? You can take a theme and you can do it just straight up more than anyone else has ever done it, and that's awesome. And there's definitely no knocking people who can pick any old theme and basically just math the shit out of it and make it work. But I like themes that come from deep in my soul, because that's where all my stories come from. I never think about why they're there until they're happening, and I never really understand them until I get them all the way down on the page. But anyway, so it's interesting because I think that there might be other people like me out there. Maybe you're one of them, who you're writing and you don't know what you're writing or why you're writing, and the thing makes sense to you and it feels good to you, but you haven't been able to translate the theme into some meaning. And I think it takes a step back and looking at how the story applies to your own personal life, so that you can go back in on the edit and make it the greatest thing that it's ever been. So we're going to talk about my first 3 stories that I wrote when I was first starting. And I wrote several of them many times, but the themes of them were applied to what I felt at the time and person I was at the time. And the reason that I've really written 22 novels before I released one is because that was the number of stages that I as a person had to go through before I could become the kind of person who would willingly put themselves out there and put their art out there, whether it was any good or not, right? And so maybe you're sitting there going, I'll never put a book out there, and you hear me, you're like, oh my god, 22 books. You had to write 22 books before you willingly put yourself out there? That's insane. Yes. And maybe it'll be less for you, or maybe you don't have the same problems I have, but I had to make quite a big transition, I guess. So the 3 books are The Key to Tir na Nog, the original Marrow Grand Prix, which isn't even remotely the same, and The Claddagh. And these are 3 books based on 3 of the girls from the Forfeda who will eventually be released, but since people already know about them and only like 12 of you are probably going to watch this video, not exactly spoilers, so I don't mind talking about it. And a lot of the stories have changed significantly as I've gotten considerably better as a writer. Right, so first one, The Key to Tir na Nog, focuses on the character Fang. So this was about a girl locked in Tir na Nog. Tir na Nog is the land of eternal youth, is the land of plenty. Nobody goes without in Tir na Nog. And Fang, she was born into this world. She's never known anything else. And in this place, this has been going for a long time, most of the people in Tir na Nog hate it. They've gotten to the point where the only thing that matters is the things that you can't have freely given to you by the world. So things like victory over another person. So a lot of them are really into games, or things that you've made with your own hands, right? Things that you've crafted and created, because you can make mistakes when you try and create your own art, and it takes a master of dedication. Sit down and find meaning in doing something special. Now, Fang is the only person who can make it out of Tir na Nog, maybe, they think, but they've never been able to find a way out. They're trapped in this, bubble of what sounds like paradise, but is actually horrid. And she's going through a theme where she says she has all this skill, but she can't use it. And that's how I felt at the time, because I had just come off of becoming an amazing gamer. I was truly gifted, and I was right on the cusp of going pro when it was stolen from me. As in, not that somebody beat me, but pro circuit shut down. It didn't exist anymore. So all the skill that I had acquired is moot. It didn't matter, right? And so at the time, I didn't realize that what Fang was going through was what I was going through. And that I was trying to find a reason to care. A reason to go what is the point of life when you get all this skill only for it to be taken away from you? And, of course, you can see it in the other characters around here, is finding something drive you. Finding something that even in a world that can give you everything, that you can find meaning to personally. And so she goes on this whole Buddha level journey of basically finding the meaning, not in the journey, which I think is where a lot of people say, oh, it's the journey before the destination. And hers isn't about the journey. Hers is about finding meaning in the moments of the journey, which is a big difference. A lot of people are like, you must suffer before you manage to finally get to the end and feel good about yourself. It's like, no, you can enjoy it the whole time, right? You don't ever have to suffer. It's your choice on how you feel. And so her meaning isn't the journey. It's the personal choice of feeling at any destination, because every point along the line is a destination. So it's a little bit different. than what most people try and do, where they're like, the journey matters and the destination doesn't. The destination does matter. It matters a lot. If the destination didn't matter, you wouldn't be trying to fucking get. So I hate people like journey before destination. No, both. In fact, destination first, journey second. Journey does not have any meaning if you don't make the destination. There's literally no point to the journey. So I think that a lot of people have that wrong. I don't like that theme. I think it's a terrible theme and really destructive. But I think a lot of things that people classically hold as truths are seriously destructive, and they're only there for normies. But yeah, so that is the theme that I was going through with Fang. And then the second book was, so Artemis is a character where she's struggling because she's a spoiled princess who doesn't want to work hard. Right? You can see after I'm like, okay, I have meaning. In Artemis is like trying to buy talent. She's like trying to buy the ability to win the big race against the mermaids, and she can't do it. And she has to learn the value of sitting down and working hard. Now, it's not that I didn't understand the value of working hard, right? And it's not that Artemis as a character doesn't understand the value of working hard. It's more, why am I here again? Why do I have to try again? What is the point? What am I going to get out of putting in work again? And so she's going through a crisis of trying to come around to going for it. It's like, all right, this will be fun, but like, dang, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to climb a mountain. And so you can see again where it's like, okay, I can see how you found a meaning in art, but now you have to work at it, and that can annoy you. And so it's not about the idea of somebody who doesn't understand hard work. It's more like coming back around to working hard at something new when you didn't expect it. And again, you can see how the theme was coming out of how I felt personally at the time. And the third book is Saoirse, or the OG Saoirse, because the one that is released now has no bearing at all on the OG. The OG is about a girl who fights demons with razor-tipped Irish step dance shoes in a face of death, right? You partner up St. Patrick and his Honda Civic and you kick demons in the teeth until you win, which is awesome. Not gonna lie, it's pretty awesome. And I do hope it makes a return. I really do. I want to put the Clada back in a meaningful fashion in the 4 Feta series as it goes forward. At the time that it's at right now, there isn't anything there. Hopefully when all the girls get together later on in the series and they do their big Avengers Assemble and then, right off into the sunset, I can do something with the Clada because I think it's cool. Yeah, so Saoirse's whole thing is just like in the book that's actually released, just like in Hard to Win. She was a sports star, except that one she was a boxer. She was a fighter. And her challenge is she's trying to go from being a fighter to being an artist. Right, so you can see how the themes layer. They go, here I am with Fang. I found meaning in this. Okay, I'm working hard. How can I take any of the knowledge I've ever accumulated so far in life and turn it into something that seems like the exact opposite of what it is, right? Which is taking my skill at being a gamer and applying it to becoming great at. Those are the 3. And I think that it's just an interesting exercise, right? It's an interesting way of looking at what your heart truly desires because that's what you write and what you stick with. And if you're really digging deep into your psyche to find your themes, which I think you should, I don't think there's any reason to themes for any other purpose, because then you're not making the purest art you can. You're making lame art for loser babies, and you should give up. I know what I said earlier, but I take it back. So I hope this like some people found that helpful, that some people found that useful, and that they'll be able to look at their own work in progress now with new eyes and go like, okay, where am I at in life? And maybe that'll help them understand the kinds of characters they're writing and why they feel an attachment to that character, and they can pronounce the themes in their stories better, that they resonate with more. That's all I got for today. Good night, boys.